Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Boxing to the Max Round 2 with Andrew the Boxing Brain. I know you're all sick to death of listening to me, so to save the show this week, we've got Olly from the Squeeze the Neck podcast. Olly, thank you so much for coming on. How are we, mate?
Yes. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate you having me. Nice to meet you. I've met Andrew before, but, mate, as I say, grateful to be on.
Yeah, love the pod, mate. I was just saying beforehand, watching your Bradley Skeet interview. What a legend, eh? Love Bradley Skeet. Very underrated fighter.
Appreciate it.
So, so basically you were amateur boxer and you've also done MMA as well. So how did you get into all of that? Did you do that from a young age or?
So I was amateur boxer first. I've never fought MMA at this point, but we're still young, right? But I've kind of done MMA separately. So I got heavily into grappling as I got to my 20s and things like that. And then I've done bits and pieces of everything. But yeah, I started off as a teenager as an amateur boxer. Before that, I'd done a little bit of Thai, but I was too young to fight, I believe. So I was 10. So I think I was doing like club. What's the word I'm looking for? Skills bouts. The equivalent of skills bout. They don't call it a skills bout. It was in the club, but equivalent of skills bout in amateur boxing. I've done a bit of that. And yeah, as I got older in teenage years, I started boxing, and it just went on from there, mate.
And you still do your training now, your sparring and everything. You enjoying it as much as you were when you were a kid?
I enjoy it more now because I'm at an age now where friends of mine that haven't looked after their bodies are starting to feel their age, and I'm not in the slightest. So I'm enjoying it more.
Yeah, that's a good thing though, isn't it? Like maintaining your physical activity. That's where sport, whether you're a fighter or whatever, staying ready and it's ticking over. That's where the benefits you can reap the benefits, Olly, can't you? It gives you a purpose to keep doing it and stay healthy as you get older.
Yeah, and especially like with I don't know if you boys have done any other martial arts, like it's never ending anyway. So you keep on keeping on, and it's sort of you're not always a beginner. That'd be a silly way to put it, but you know what I mean. There's always new areas to be a beginner in.
Well, Jason Statham's still doing it, isn't it? I was reading about it, like 58. He's still training like 4, 5, 6 hours a day, and he's, the guy's pushing 60. He looks remarkable, doesn't he?
Is that how old he is? 58, yeah.
58. I couldn't believe when I read it. I was like, 58.
Yeah.
They're like taking some elixir of youth, these guys. So he looks about 38.
Yeah. I mean, 58 is different now, isn't it? Like when we was younger, 58 was a little old man, but 58 is, it is.
You look at Mike Tyson, still going.
Yeah.
Fighting Floyd Mayweather, isn't
he? Hit mate. Yeah, that's a mad one. Is that happening? Is that going to go?
It's going to be awful, mate. I think it's in the Congo. It's an exhibition. That'll be absolutely horrendous. I mean, they've got a combined age of about 200, haven't they? Floyd and Mike Tyson.
What do you think's going to happen there? Because I think they got a bit of needle in it by the sound of it. Is Mike going to sort of like rip up the script and have a go?
Hopefully. Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for. I mean, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Because Floyd just comes across so unlikable, doesn't he? I mean, I've always wanted to like him, but even like in his late 40s, he's still going on about money. And it's like, how desperate are you for attention, mate? When are you going to grow up?
Yeah.
But they're still at it. But maybe Floyd against Bradley Skeet down the line, mate, in an exhibition.
Let's go, Feds.
Who the hell's Jake Paul going to fight next? We were joking, Olly, right? Because we're doing a lot of these retrospectives on. Check out the other episodes, by the way. And we've done one on Wardley Harrison, who's about 54, and we said he's a little bit too young for Jake, and he's like
too fresh.
And what's happening? What's the latest with Jake Paul? Is he said he's going to fight on after the Anthony Joshua?
Tommy Fury, they were talking about, which to be honest, I wouldn't be against because they're similar level.
That's the one to make, probably, isn't it? I mean, obviously he had his jaw broke, didn't he? I suppose that's a whole other pod. But what did he think was going to be? He must have expected as soon as he got landed on one. So that's probably good. What made me laugh, Olly, was I think AJ was pulling his punches half the time in that fight as well, wasn't he?
Well, the thing, I mean, people are always going to criticise things like that, aren't they? And like AJ literally couldn't win in that unless he literally came across the ring with a big right hand within 5 seconds and finished it. It is what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? He couldn't win, and he's obviously got a lot of stuff going on in his life now, isn't he? After, but Jake Paul, I mean, you can criticise him all you like, but it's a brave thing to do, stepping in with AJ, isn't it?
It is 100%, especially when you're already worth tens of millions. Because I was really worried for his health. I thought the second AJ lands, but like you say, it was a big right hand, but it wasn't, the right hand that landed on Ngannou. I think that would have ended Jake Paul. Literally, that would have been brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jake Paul must have realised straight away, if he didn't before, that there was no possible way he was winning this fight, right? And when someone's moving around like the way he was and jumping on the legs, it is, well, I shouldn't say difficult, but it makes things a lot more difficult for someone to knock them out, doesn't it? You know, if someone's decided they've checked out, but
Literally running away, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know what I think about these before we move on back to you, Ollie, but these exhibitions they're a bit out of control for me. Like, I mean, obviously that got sanctioned out in Miami, Florida, because they're the only state in the world that seems to have. So, the circus is in town. Yeah, we'll put it on. Yeah, we'll put it on. Don't worry. Everyone else is like, hang on a minute, you've got a massive natural heavyweight with a pumped up light heavyweight. I mean, he hadn't even a cruiserweight, Jake Paul. Really, such a size disparity, but. We're going to get to a stage, I think, whether it's Jake Paul, someone else, KSI, I don't know, some other YouTuber with a massive platform who's going to get seriously, I hope it never happens, but seriously harmed. And then we're going to go, maybe we shouldn't put them in with like these still active heavyweights or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that could have been the one, couldn't it? The Jake Paul one. That could have been. You know, that should obviously goes without saying that should have never been sanctioned. But people sell out for money nowadays, don't they? I don't blame the two fighters, because if Jake Paul I can't see that he believed he was going to win. Either way, he got in there. But it's the people that are taking the money on the, whoever sanctioned it that are the ones really for me. Like,
they're all getting their 10%, aren't they? In Britain, that would never happen. The British Boxing Board of Control would never have sanctioned that in a million years. So
no, never.
That's horrendous. But it'll never end, like you say, Andrew, until something bad happens. I don't think it will end.
Yeah, it always seems to be the way, though, in life, doesn't it? It's only when we see this in all different facets of life. It's only when something serious happens, or there's a death, God forbid, or a serious injury somewhere, then we go, maybe we should regulate this a little bit more. Because we can't keep having this happen. But all the while, it's bringing in huge money, huge numbers. Business is business, at the end of the day, isn't it, boys? And
if it makes sense.
Yeah. But get back to you. How long have you been in the media? Because it's fairly new for you, the media stuff, isn't it? The Instagram's going well, isn't it? You're doing all right.
Well, do you know what? It's funny. People ask me about your media stuff and like how many interviews and stuff. To be honest with you, I don't see I'm in media or interviews. To be honest with you, I just sit down, switch a camera on, and speak to sort of fighters and let the conversation flow. Like certain people. Sometimes when I'm doing podcasts, they ask me up front, like what sort of topics you want to cover or what questions. But I don't know is the answer. Do you know what I mean? Like if for example today, I was with Ray Stevens. I don't know if you know who Ray Stevens is. He was an Olympic silver medalist in judo. So I mean, I'm obviously going to talk about judo with him, right? But outside of that, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I have no plan, no nothing, and I just get on with it. So like to answer your question in terms of the media, I don't really see it like that anyway. I just have a chat. I would anyway. But the camera's on.
I think you take my approach a little bit. And it's kind of when I first started in it, I'd do all these when I was doing still a lot of stuff with Boxing Bros and that, and I would write out all these questions and try and anticipate it because I'm a bit of a thinker, I think who's going to be going to ask this, and then I thought, I'm making this hard work. If it starts to feel like a job, right, when I'm passionate about this field, I'm doing it all wrong. And then I thought, right, I'm just going to have some baseline ones that I know I'll go to. And I think it was I had a shocker. We'll talk about bad interviews. I had a shocker with Deb Sarni, and he lives near from me as well. And I used that a bit of an icebreaker. And honestly, the interview just fell apart. And I thought, okay, welcome to this world. That was where I met you, Ollie. To be fair, I had a shocker. But then then I recovered with a few interviews after. But it was the Michael Hunter one for me, where something landed, and Don Charles a bit later, where I just sort of made it a bit more of a relaxed conversation about boxing, and I found that they would open up more as a result. I think a lot of people, mainstream media, they get a bit caught up in this, I can't offend, I better not offend. Like I had a little dig at Michael Hunter for supposedly going to be fighting a 75-year-old Pulev, and he had a little joke with me about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think you take that approach as well from what I've seen.
I don't plan nothing. I just have a chat, as I say, like the same way I would if the camera weren't on. You know what I mean? I've been around a fight game like pretty much all my life, so I'm chatting about some. Not that I'm saying I'm some expert or anything, but I'm talking about something I'm comfortable talking about. So it's easy, isn't it? Like as when I started, as you were saying about writing questions out and that, I was thinking about things to ask people and stuff. I thought like this is hard work, isn't it? It ain't fun anymore. And it's like when the conversation goes, it ain't worth it to me. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny you say that. Like the people I know the best like some of the people I've actually known for years and trained with. I won't say who it is, but if you follow the channel, you work out which episode I'm talking about. There's a geezer I've known really well, and I'm asking him some questions, and he's going, "Yep." I'm like, mate, liven up. I've known you for years. Forget the cameras on, you know. So yeah, it is. It's easy if you want to make it easy, isn't it?
I think Daniel Dubois might be a bit like that if you ever interview him. You know, one word answers.
Oh yeah, I don't want to talk. I'm ready for the fight. I just want to fight. Don't want to talk.
Went really well.
Great, brilliant. Thanks for coming, Dan.
Yeah.
So that's my worst one, Dev Sadi. What's your worst one? Kind of just out in the field. You must have had one where you were like, "Fucking hell, is he going to stick a right hand on me, or what's going on here?"
To be honest with you, in terms of the podcasts I've done, I've had they're all right. You know, I've not had any. The one I did, I won't say what it was. I was invited to an MMA show a while back, and I was a bit sort of newer to doing the podcast and stuff, and I just thought, whatever, and I got asked to do some interviews, and I was a bit like, that ain't really for me anyway, but whatever. Anyway, one of the fighters was quite rude, and we ended up having a bit of a push and a shove and whatever, but his coach took my side, so the geezer's obviously not the ticket, right? So as it's kicking off, his coach has kind of switched teams, and as I say, I won't say where it was or who it was, but it was a bit of a strange situation. I'm looking at the coach thinking, shouldn't you be over that side of the ring? I was like, I don't
bit of argy but. So what would you have done if it had have escalated? Would you have got him on the ground and grappled him, or would you have stuck a big right hook on him?
I'd have done whatever I wanted, Andrew. He had nothing for me, and he knows who he is.
However you wanted to end it, you'd have ended it.
You're leaving that room alone.
Funny. It was just a bit of a strange situation, you know. The guy had won the fight he was in, but you know, just someone who's got a chip on their shoulder and is just trying. I don't know whether he's trying to be funny and he got a bit awkward. I don't know what the situation. It don't matter. It's long gone, and I didn't post it obviously because it's we doing. But yeah, that's the only one I've had where I could say the person it was like a negative. Other than that, everyone's good, man. Because like the format I do it, where we just sit down, we're sort of, I know we're online now, but I do mine in person. So we're either sitting on, you know, chairs next to each other. Most of the time we're in a dojo somewhere on the side of a ring, and it's very kind of relaxed. For anyone who's ever been sort of, who I felt seems a bit nervous during, as soon as the sort of hellos are out the way, it's almost like forget it.
Forget the cameras there,
yeah.
Oh.
Interesting. And how do you find the training teams in general? Do you find that like the trainers can be a bit awkward when you're asking for interviews and stuff, or are they normally quite cool?
Everyone's cool, man. I'm surprised how it is. And to be honest, what I try and do, you can't always do it, obviously, because of their timings and whatever. But what I normally try and do is train with them too, beforehand or after or whatever. So I try and get the vibe across that, listen, I'm just one of them as well. Do you know what I mean? We're just sitting having a chat after training, before training, whatever it is, and try and keep it. To be honest, the fight world is quite not small, but like you typically, what do they call it? Seven shades of separation or whatever. Someone. We know someone who knows each other, and like we're friends of friends anyway, right? In this country, so it's always been very easy for me, you know, very easy, and it's like very welcoming. Everyone's always been good to me.
And do you find that boxers and MMA fighters are a bit different, or are all fighters quite similar in their personalities and like their approach to interviews and stuff?
All very similar in terms of things, but I mean, different views on things. Like, you know, I've sat down with boxers that are convinced they can still beat MMA fighters, and you go, I was there once, but you live and learn, and it's a little. But other than stuff like that, there's certain times I've sat down with people who've got problems with other people I've done podcasts with, and they can be a bit arsey and whatever, but. It's all. Everyone's
in general. People are sound, yeah.
Everyone's the same, you know. Some people aren't for me. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of personality, we wouldn't sit there and be friendly after necessarily, but you know, it is what we're sitting and having a chat, and it is what it is. You know, other people, I've got certain people I've done podcasts with, and we're literally like messaging like teenage girls for the next year after. You know what I mean? Like they send silly videos, you having banter online and all that. So yeah, it's all over the shop.
Yeah, I think that's in life though, Ollie, isn't it? Where, you know, some people you vibe with, that resonate with you, some that don't. But I think that's been my experience in the sort of couple of years of doing sort of events here and there, some bigger ones. Generally, I've got to say, most people have been pretty cool. I remember when we put a camera in Jaya Patai's face and he was there to support Joe Parker. And he didn't. You could tell he was sort of sorted in there in his cap, and he didn't really fancy being in there. He sort of begrudgingly gave us 5 minutes, but that was a little bit dicey. I think I felt, but generally everyone, even people in the media as well, Radio Raheem, all them guys are all very like Adam Smith. I mean, he has time for everyone. That guy, doesn't he? Like,
Yeah, he's
I don't know if
cool.
you remember the event where we met. Like, he was there for hours, Max, giving interviews. Like, and people don't maybe see that side of it. They only see them, when we obviously what the commentators and whatever. But he was very giving. And Don Charles as well. My experience with Don Charles, he couldn't give enough interviews, and they don't have to do that, really, do they?
No,
they
well,
really
I tell you
don't.
what I found as well. Like when we was at there, when you've got when you're in the press area where it's a bit sort of off, and it's not sort of a fanboy vibe, is it? Everyone's a bit more chilled, so you can just sort of freely talk to people. Whereas, like if they're walking through a crowd and someone's got like an iPhone out, like, oh, can I get an interview? That's got to be a pain in the ass, isn't it?
Oh.
But when they're in like was you at Box Park when the weigh-ins were going on for the Usyk?
Usyk, yeah. Oh, mate, we was late and we got smuggled in. I felt like a superstar. It was bizarre.
Yeah. Oh, you got like backdoor treatment, like cover over the
mate. The amount of Ukrainians there, like the flag, it was mental, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that bit, like where we had the little squared off bit, like in there, it was almost like, I don't know what you felt. Like when you was outside, it was like stressful and whatever, wasn't like getting in. But once you got through, it was almost like, and everything was like, everyone in there was like in their own little cage, and it was like it was good.
But it is a bit mad, Olly, isn't it? Because there's just cameras everywhere. You've got like influence. Someone, you'll have like an actor rock up, a footballer, someone from Love Is Blind bollocks. I don't know, celebrity love nonsense. Well, I don't even know who these people are. I've got.
Well, I thought it was quite funny that I had like a big blow up my ear, cauliflower. So I had it like cut and stitched, and I had like a big bandage around my head. So I'm like going up there. I come from like the A&E, and I thought like it's all right. They'll drain it and it will just look a bit funny. But I had the proper head thing on. I put like an hat on to try and cover it and whatever. But that was actually getting me some attention because people were like, oh, what's happened to you? Like half thought I'd been attacked with an axe or something. Whereas it was nothing. It was nothing fun. It was just a cauliflower ear.
You should have said, yeah, just before I come into the way, and some guy just went mental at me with an axe. I just
Derek Chisora.
I was going to say, yeah, Usyk assaulted me, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And how do you find, like, when you're at these interviews and stuff, it must be like a scrum to get these interviews with different fighters. Do you find like other members of the media, without naming names, obviously, I mean, you can if you want, but is some of them a bit arsey with like, oh, it's my interview, it's my turn with him, or is everyone pretty chilled? Or
I've definitely seen it with people. I've definitely seen it with people, but again, like them things, I use it for like just meeting people more than anything. I'm just there floating about, to be honest with you. Andrew's seen me there. I don't do any interviews at all at them point, like completely zero. I don't do it at all. I just walk around and sort of like watch the event and like enjoy it really. And I found like again for what I do, it's better for me to just sort of check, like you mentioned Radio Raheem earlier. I met him at the Usyk thing. And we've become quite friendly since. He's been on the podcast twice and we've done some bits together. He's got me to some other events. Great fella. But yeah, to be honest, as I say, I don't sort of. I'm just there to sort of hang about, if you like,
Yeah.
Soak it in, mate. Soak it in. Enjoy it. Immerse yourself in that world, mate.
Walk around like you're important, like you're supposed to be there. You know what I mean?
Love it. Well, I reckon we should talk about. I don't know if you reckon, Max, the upcoming Wardley. I mean, this one ain't going the distance. Wardley Dubois. Where do we start with this? We got to talk about this a little bit. Olly,
See, I think stylistically, it's the best fight in boxing in terms of a war. Like the two biggest punchers in the heavyweight division, both
95% KO ratio each or thereabouts.
Yeah, only been the distance once in championship fights. Like someone is getting brutally knocked out there, Olly. I mean, it's got to be a 50-50. I have no idea who wins it. I think Wardley, but I think Dubois could iron him out. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wardley wins this fight. I think he's got a proper never say die attitude, hasn't he? We've seen it multiple times now at good levels. He'll come through it and he'll keep going while he's awake, sort of thing. Whereas Dubois, there's certain times where things sort of run away from him. He's a front runner, isn't he? Is what I'm trying to say. It's like when things get away. People have said he's a quitter. I don't think he's a quitter.
On top fighter, Olly.
Yeah, I don't think he's a quitter, but I just feel like it's when plans aren't going well and it's not figuring out. it's like he runs out of ideas more than anything, and sort of just the
Yeah.
steam goes and he falls apart. We've seen it against Usyk in the last one more so because he had a resurgence after people saying he was quitting and stuff. But at a certain point, I think, like, what would put it a different way? Wardley, I don't think Wardley's got that in him. I think Wardley will go till he can't, and I think ultimately he'll break him down and he'll stop him late.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Dubois as well. I think every time he's quote unquote quit, like you said, I mean, I think he was done in all of those fights. I think it was the right decision. The Joe Joyce one, his eye was completely closed.
Yeah.
And against Usyk twice, he was done. He got dropped twice. And I think it was the right decision. So save yourself for another day. You know, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got that in your shield. I don't think you should save yourself for another day, but I don't think he's so much a quitter. I think it's more once he runs out of ideas, he doesn't know what to do. He looks sort of lost and he sort of like looks for the corner a bit. Like, I know you should look for your corner anyway if you're down, but he kind of looks bewildered, a bit like a child. You know what I mean? Like a sort of like run out of ideas, looking for like an answer and it's not there, and 10, it's over.
But I'm glad you touched on that, Ollie, because I know it's something me and Max have spoken off camera about this, haven't we? We said that, and sometimes people don't want to broach it, but for me, Dubois, and we had the tone, I don't know what, I mean, to me, it always seems to be very kind of chaotic. He needs kind of, for me, he needs structure. And I always take it a bit because my background, I've studied a bit of psychology, all the rest of it. It's always come at it. And I think, he's clearly on the autistic spectrum or something like that, very close relationship with his dad that is obviously a big supportive big up, maybe too much, you could argue. Don Charles obviously had that father figure element. And you know this, Ollie, well, we all know, don't we, that your coach is also it's a mentorship as well. And obviously it wasn't working with Tony Sims. I don't know why he went there in the first place. But I think it seems to me he's a bit like that. He does seem a bit of an on-top fighter. And if the going does, and it's no disgrace, is it, losing to Joyce and Usyk twice? And he was on a bit of a run. But when the going does get tough or he gets a bit confused in there, the plan B and C, I think he needs a lot of guidance. I think that's clear, boys, isn't it?
I do. I think it's exactly. I think you're bang on there. As I said before, I don't think he's a quitter. I don't think it's that kind of thing. It's not that kind of vibe. It's more sort of he needs someone to tell him what to do, and when someone's not telling him what to do, he looks around and it's sort of a little bit like, what am I supposed to do? And you're out right then.
He's like all at sea, isn't he? It's like he's come off the boat and he's been chucked out, and he's like, what? Where do I swim over here? Like where do I go?
Where's Wilson?
I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, for
Max,
the Joe Joyce fight, I think his dad left the arena, didn't he? That was during COVID.
Yeah.
And in that fight, you can see when he goes down and he takes a knee, he's looking for his dad. And he wasn't even his dad was that nervous, he went in the back. And I think he says he massively regrets that. So I think, like you say, he always needs his dad there. But for the Usyk 2 rematch, I mean, you don't really see it much on camera. They didn't get many good angles. But apparently his corner was so kept. Like, I think there was about 50 people there or something, all shouting different things. He had a massive entourage, didn't he? Obviously with that party. I know it wasn't a massive,
oh God,
cocaine and alcohol fuel party, but there was lots of people there, wasn't there? I don't think that helped him either. But by all accounts, he'd done that for AJ. So I think he came up against an unbelievable fighter in Usyk as well twice, like you said. No shame at all in losing to him.
Yeah, I think he panicked in there. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was at the fight, but watching it live, it was just like we expected a big sort of have a go fight, and nothing. He sort of didn't start, and it was a bit sort of, I don't know. It was a strange vibe. Like Usyk was class. Don't get me wrong, and that's part of the problem. If you do part, you got Usyk hitting you, but there was an element of like he didn't sort of. It was almost like he thought Usyk was going to fall over in front of him like AJ did. Not that AJ laid down, but he bombed AJ out of there. And this is all of a sudden you're getting peppered and picked off and whatever. And it was just weird, man. I just don't think he's got that ability to change a fight when it's going against him.
Overwhelmed. I mean, with generational talent in Usyk, but I think, and it's I think it's really underestimated. I think this is the level of exhaustion when Usyk is kind of fainting, when every fibre of his body is kind of fainting with his legs. You don't know what angles the punches are coming from. He's in, he's out, he's slippery. It's hard to kind of like nail him down in the corner. He pivots out because he's a bit of a dancer on his feet and he's got exemplary footwork. And I think half the problem, and AJ gave it a right good go in that second fight, is that Usyk just mentally drains you. You must just be in there thinking, oh my God, like I'm exhausted. And I
Well,
think,
if you remember, sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
if you remember the Tony Bellew fight, right? Like, like when I'm watching that fight, Tony Bellew was ahead on the scorecards. Yeah, I think most people would probably agree. But it just looked like he was having to use too much energy, and it was only a matter of time before Usyk was going to catch up with him. And that's I know that's easy to say now because we know that did happen, right? But
yeah,
at the time, it did feel like a matter of time. Usyk's just getting through the rounds, doing it, not getting through the rounds, the wrong way to put it, but you know where I'm coming from. He's just
yeah,
waiting. He knows it's coming, and he's making you work too hard to stay there. And I think he done
yeah,
that to Dubois quick. And when Dubois was feeling it, again, I don't think he quit necessarily. He just ran out of ideas and didn't know what to do with himself.
yeah.
And that left hand was massive, wasn't it? Ivan, as Usyk called it, that was a huge shot. And I think Dubois has actually got quite a good chin, I think.
I think it's a great chin, yeah.
I know he goes
Yeah.
down quite a bit, but I think that left hand would have ironed out so many heavyweights. So that was a huge shot. And he got back up after, but again, I think he was just done, like you said, mentally, physically. But I expected a bit more as well. But I think Usyk just, when he's in there, I think it's so much hard. Like Tyson Fury, everyone said all he's got to do is be aggressive and do what he did to Wilder in the second fight, but you can't do that with Usyk.
Yeah,
He's not beyond Wilder.
Yeah, all you got to do is chase him down and be aggressive with him.
Stick it on him. Target the body.
Because he can do everything, and that's the problem. Because if you want to mix it up with him, he can do that. He's got resilience. He's got a chin. You know, if you're going to try and box him, that's a bloody terrible idea because he's a better boxer than most outside of Fury. He can pretty much do everything. But I actually, and I'd love to play devil's advocate, I feel quite strongly for Wardley for this one. I think very similar to Olly. I don't know if Max, you come in after, what you think, but I think this right move going back to Don Charles, I don't know what the setup's going to be there. Has Don Charles got more of a say with his dad in the corner? I don't know. But all going well with his mentally, physically all in the right headspace, I still think with Wardley, I think what's going to be key for me is that if Dubois does land, because Wardley can be hit, I think that's fair to say, but when Dubois does land on him, and if it doesn't have too much of an effect, or Wardley's still there, I just wonder psychologically how Dubois will receive that. If he's still there after he's hit him with his best shots. And then I think you then might start to see at the back end of the fight, Dubois might start to just lose a little bit of heart. And I think Wardley, like you said, I think he'll just break him down. I just think he's at the moment too durable, too much heart, and he just seems to be able to got this ability. You said earlier, Olly, that Dubois can't turn the fight around. Well, that is the opposite of what Wardley's brilliant at turning the fight around. So I think stylistically, I'll put myself on a limb. I actually feel really strongly for Wardley on this one. I might get egg on my face. It's happened to me before. It happened to me with Josh Kellyan and Murtazaliev recently. Murtazaliev. So, but we're in this game to put our predictions. But I think Dubois I think he'll have a right go the first few rounds. But I think once he sees Wardley still there, I think he'll fall apart a bit. That's what I think.
See, I think, I agree. I think he's going to stop him late, but I don't think he'll necessarily crumble the same way he did against Usyk because I don't see him getting outclassed. Now, he fought. What's the fella's name? Hrgovic. And he took some shots, didn't he, and sort of come through some adversity. So, again, that's what I go back to. I don't think he's a quitter type. I think it's just at a certain point, if he's out of ideas, he's sort of second-guessing himself and sort of lost at sea. But I don't think he'll get there because I don't think Wardley's going to outclass him. I think Wardley will beat him down and eventually sort of get him out of there. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, absolutely.
As well, he was down 3 times, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that was in the card of Tyson Fury Chisora, I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So he has shown, signs of heart. Like you said, it's not a case of he goes down and that's it. Oh, he's hurt. Even against AJ, he was buzzed, wasn't he, in round 5? And then AJ killing got clocked. So
AJ throwing an uppercut from outside range. I mean, really, really strange. Kind of threw a jab, didn't he, Olly? You remember? And then he threw an uppercut from even beyond mid range, which really leaves you open for a counter hook. And Dubois just slipped it and was like, thank you very much.
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Yeah, I think AJ at that point was at a point where it was like, this is my moment, this is my time. Because I think how many times had been down at that point? Was it 2, 3?
Maybe 3 or 4. What did
3 or 4. And he's like, I think he caught him with a great shot, and the Rocky music started going, didn't it? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
It's also
we're not in there
interesting.
also, isn't it? It's easy from the outside, isn't it? You know.
Oh yeah. Why did he do this? Why did he throw that?
Sat on the
Easy
settee.
for us to say.
Yeah.
But you've also got Ben Davison. He trains Fabio Wardley, doesn't he? So he'll be looking for revenge. I know it's not about him, but at the same time, I think it'll be a 50-50 fight for me. I think you've got to edge towards Wardley with the momentum. And like you say, you can imagine Wardley getting hurt and going down and recovering. And with Dubois, I think he can recover. But I think Wardley's heart is just, I think he's got the biggest heart in boxing. Maybe him and Tyson Fury, you know, in terms of just never say die.
And you
that could be
can't.
the
The
difference.
thing is, but I don't think he can allow Dubois to get any early success. I think what AJ did, he was very hesitant when his hands were low, very hesitant, and allowed Dubois kind of got his, tail up, and the confidence was just flowing, and he'd come out really fast. I think Wardley will probably come out quite quickly. Maybe they'll feel each other out the first round, but I think Wardley will kind of stick it on him quite early and test him. I don't think he's going to be hesitant. I thought AJ was far too hesitant in that. Again, easy for me to say. I recognise that. You've got a raging bull coming at you, Daniel Dubois. We're full of mustard and beans when he's feeling on top, isn't he?
Yeah. I think with Wardley too, he's undefeated, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like that goes a long way, and he's gone through hard fights and found a way to stop the guy, which that takes a lot to take away. And I don't think I think you'd need someone like Usyk to stop him at this point. Like this little buzz he's on, this little bit of momentum. You know what I mean? He needs one of the top elite boys, and I don't think Dubois is that. To be fair, I think he's there's certain people he'll never beat. Is what I'm trying to say.
Max, what do you figured 50-50, but what if you get to put your neck on the line? Who are you going for?
See, I edge towards Wardley, but I just think Dubois, I could imagine Dubois clocking him. I really could. It's that jab as well. He's got one of the best jabs in the heavyweight division, Dubois. Very underrated, that left jab, which basically set up the finish against Hrgovic, didn't it? I know that was more stopped on cuts, but he pieced him up really. So I could see Dubois doing it, but I think I agree. If it's 5-6 rounds in, Wardley's still there. Dubois starts to slow down. I think Wardley will get him. So I edge towards Wardley, but on fight night, I might have my Daniel Dubois hat on. You never know, mate. Triple D.
You're not going to be surprised either way. It's definitely not going the distance, is it, whatsoever? But I know it's something Richie Woodall said, actually, because he's had anybody and everybody on the pads in the Olympic cycles and all the rest of it. And he said Dubois' jab was like most heavyweights he's ever had right hand. He said his jab was the equivalent of a lot of heavyweight straight rights. And he said AJ's straight right was the hardest he'd ever felt. And I thought that was some interesting information. So that gives you an idea of the artillery a modern heavyweight can display, boys.
Serious power.
Bloody hell, just the jabs like most heavyweights right hands. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, somebody's getting knocked out for sure. Someone's going to get knocked out, and it'll be knockout of the year. It has to be. So let's see. But then we've also got the return of Tyson Fury. Did you watch a press conference, Ollie? Did you? Did you see John Fury?
Yeah, well, I didn't watch the press conference as it was happening, but I've seen like probably every clip that's out there, so I've kind of got the gist of it. But yeah, so I have seen it. And listen, Tyson Fury now, he's at the age where it's like he's got to get it out of the tank now, and let's get this done. So I don't want him to miss anything. And I think everyone wants to see him fight AJ, which again with the AJ situation, we don't know if he's going to fight again or whatnot. But yeah, I'm into it, man. Like Tyson Fury, I want to see these guys fight while they still can, because there's nothing worse than a geezer that gets to sort of his mid to late 40s and makes the comeback. I don't want to see that.
No one wants to see that.
No, and Tyson, to be fair, in both Usyk fights fought well. He was competitive. I know he lost them both, but I still think he's got a lot left. And Makhmudov is tailor-made for him. I think he'll stop him. He'll school him and stop him.
I think the Wilder fights took it out of Fury. I still believe that a prime Fury would beat Usyk. I don't say that with massive confidence. But
interesting.
I do think I think that them fights took a bit out of him. If you look at him, I know it's a bit of a different, I think, mindset played into it when he fought in Ngannou, but that ain't the same guy to me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like at a certain point it's over, and Fury, like he doesn't live the life out of camp, does he? He's blown up in weight and whatnot. And that catches up with you at a certain point, doesn't it? And I feel like it might be now.
I mean, I watched I caught a bit of the press conference, and I'll tell you what, a bit like the host was saying, that in terms of vintage Tyson Fury, the things he was coming out with. Boxing's boring again, boxing shit. I'm bringing a bit of excitement back. And all the kind of promo around, he's this hard-hitting monster man. And because the casual is going to kind of think, not really know too much, who's maybe going back, watching boxing again because Tyson Fury's coming back and think, oh, this is a big guy. Oh, he's got a high knockout ratio, all the rest of it. But I mean, outside of Joe Joyce, probably the slowest heavyweight I've seen. Very powerful. But look, he absolutely is dangerous. Any big heavyweight like him's dangerous. But I think I agree with Max. I think he's tailor-made for Fury. He'll just jab his head off. He's kind of just there, isn't he?
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Fury's still what he was. This is quite a routine, easy night, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's like a measuring stick, isn't it, more than anything, to see what's next. With fight Usyk again, he spoke about fighting Usyk again as his thing. Like, is he going to? But Usyk stuff as well. Like, Usyk's still saying he wants to fight Wilder, which to me is like, that shit was so far gone now. It's not even fun. And here's another one for you, boys. You tell me what you think. I think in his day, when he was at the top of his game, Wilder had a good chance of beating Usyk.
Do you think?
Ooh,
he would have definitely had a puncher's chance.
I think he could have landed that shot and got him out of there. You know what I mean? Like, you look at what he did to, I know he's not the same fighter, but Luis Ortiz. He was getting boxed up the whole fight, but he was calm, chilled, didn't worry about it, knew that right hand was coming and finished it. I feel he let himself down after, not let himself down, but, things started to go wrong for him when he started to learn to box, if you like. You know what I mean? You don't need to do that. Game plan A, B, and C, again, easy for me to say, but should have been land that right hand. End of story.
Well,
and like with Tyson Fury, I think those fights were Wilder completely took everything out of both of them, I think Wilder was never the same. But I think Wilder, like you said, I mean, Usyk, boxing-wise, wins every second of every round. But prime Wilder, that power, I mean, we spoke about him last week, didn't we, Andrew?
Episode 3 on Spotify.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Absolutely. But I mean, some of those knockouts, Artur Spilka, for example, when he literally, I mean, he irons him out and Spilka, bless him, pisses himself. And that was what you were dealing with Wilder's power back then, weren't you?
Dominic Brazil one as well. Do you remember that one?
Round one.
Yeah.
It was like, he had magic in his hands.
He didn't even have to kind of catch a clean, Ollie, did he? Like, the Helenius was a bit washed by then, and some of them, I know. Look, and we like I say, we did an hour and 20 minutes on Wilder last week, because obviously coming up to the fight with Del Boy Chisora, we had so much to kind of talk about, but he wouldn't have to kind of catch a clean. Sometimes he was slapping. Yeah, you can break apart the record, but technically really raw. His stance was kind of like all over the place. His leg, everything about just not using the kind of jab with any conviction half the time. But I tell you what, that wild right hand coming from kind of weird angles and at the speed it came at, it did used to like the Ortiz fight. It did used to just shock people when they're just looking up like, how did I get here?
And at the end of the day, listen, boxing's about winning, right? So, and he found a way to do it. It's only because Tyson Fury's what he is that he didn't get knocked out. He put him on his back 4 times in 2 fights, right?
How's the recovery?
I know they fought 3 times, but in 2 fights, 2 knockdowns apiece, right? And it's only because Fury's got what he's got inside of him that got him up. If he hadn't done that, he would have sparked Fury as well. You know what I mean? And even though Fury boxed his head off for most of it, it didn't matter because he found a way to land it. And I think, if you go back in history, how many people, I mean, there are, but how many people could you confidently say would definitely beat Wilder in his prime? It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably only be looking at sort of like in the modern Usyk, wouldn't you? People like that, Tyson Fury, Usyk. Aja, we spoke about last week, and we got a little bit called out. But I think you were being massively fair. I think one comment, being massively fair on what the most overrated heavyweight in boxing history. I can understand that argument. I can see it from both sides. But I think prime Aja and prime Wilder, who lands first, isn't it? Really?
See, I personally think prime versus prime, Wilder would have beat him 9 times out of 10. I think he found that way to get him. I think his prime, he was special. He was one of them guys that is so underappreciated because he always found a way to land it. You know what I mean? Like, people forget, and you can pick apart who he fought, but listen, he was 40-0 with 39 knockouts, and the only man that went the distance in the rematch, he beat him in like a minute. It's like, he was insane in his day, and I think it's easy to forget as he gets older and like all the technical flaws, he didn't need to be technical, did he? Do you know what I mean? If you start teaching Wilder to jab and move and pick and poke, you take away everything that he is. And I think that played out a little bit later in his career, as well as like the Fury fights take it out here. But listen, if that shot with Fury in the first fight, where Fury was like out, if he hadn't got up because he was like 99.999% of other people on the planet, and he hadn't got up then, where would Wilder be in history now? You know what I mean? He'd have probably retired before now, and he would. There's a good chance he could have gone out undefeated.
Yeah, it's mad. And, you know, probably 9 out of 10 refs would have called that off. Jack Reese obviously gave Fury
and would have been right to as well. You know,
yeah, nobody would have complained.
I'm going to contradict myself because he's wrong to because Fury got up, but it don't matter. If he'd have waved it off at that moment, no one would have moaned. No one would have complained because.
And Tyson Fury would have said, "Oh, I think I could have got back up," and everyone would have went, "Fuck off, Tyson."
Yeah, stupid.
No way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it would. But now he'll never get his just due to me anyway, for my opinion, for whatever.
He's done. He's completely done it. And like you said, Usyk Wilder now I think is dangerous. But back in the day, it would have been fascinating. I think it's like Wilder against anyone. You know, back
I think
dangerous.
We've seen with the Tyrell Herndon fight. Unfortunately, it looks like that the one weapon, the one thing he was good at, that Ollie just went into detail with, gave us some good insights and thoughts on the back of last week's video. That one weapon he did have, as the ammunition ain't in that weapon anymore, is it? The speed and the torque look like it's gone on it. You know, and Tyrell Hendon was just, man, might as well have been a walking heavy bag around there. But that's why I think Chisora is going to beat him, because I think the one thing he did have is now not there. Or it looks like it's not there anyway.
Well, I think Chisora will beat him now as well, which is mad to say because I wouldn't have given him much of a chance when Wilder was in his heyday, with respect.
Agreed.
But at the same time, listen, I don't think it's as much that the power's gone. I think it's the belief. And it goes back to the technical sort of flaws, if you want to see it that way. Like, when he was in his day, he was throwing every part of his body into that shot. Didn't care where he landed, didn't care where his feet were, none of that. So you can throw full force with everything you've got. If that goes away and you're timid and and you're trying to it don't matter how powerful you are with him, does it? You know what I mean? The power's not coming through. So to me now, if you start not committing on that right hand, Wilder's average at best, isn't he? You know what I mean? Whereas in his day, as I say, I really believe he's like such an elite heavyweight that'll never get his appreciation.
Yeah.
Definitely. And what would you say is more competitive right now? Usyk Wilder or Carl Froch John Fury?
Well, it depends. I saw a video that one of my silly mates who sends me dopey videos sent of someone saying that it's sort of a signed deal. Now, because of who sent me it, I don't think it's true. But is that a likely option that might happen? Are they talking about this being real?
Misfits, I think.
Oof.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Carl Froch kills him, did he?
Yeah.
bad idea. How old John Fury?
60, I think.
Just
Carl
the
Froch
age
is
alone.
48.
Well, listen, yeah, I was with Carl Froch fairly recently. I don't know him well, but I was at a seminar with him and I got the chance to do a body spar with him. He's
I'm going to ask you about that.
very, very in shape, very powerful. You know what I mean? Like what we were saying earlier about age and stuff. Now, like I think Froch is 48, right? And that's like he's looked after himself. He ain't got an ounce of fat on him. He's a big man, and it's like, listen, I don't think that's a good idea for John Fury. Take anything else out of it, just age-wise, right?
Yeah.
You're 60 years old. I know Carl Froch, people go, he's 48 himself. Don't matter. That's a world of difference. Like, I got no interest in anything like that. And also, Carl Froch was an elite fighter, right? Top elite fighter. John Fury was a pro, good pro, but not an elite guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I'm not interested in that.
Nah, definitely not. Wouldn't be
Couldn't agree
competitive.
more to that. Nothing to add to that. I just think that's just would be horrible. No one wants to see that. Come on, John. But his antics, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looked like he had the complete devil in him. Just his eye, like psychopathic. Like it was just really bizarre. But look, that's all part of the business, selling the fight. You know, I think John Fury loves to make things about himself a bit. But look, it ends up making this. Is it a pay-per-view, Macbeth? It's got to be, isn't it?
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Listen, John Fury's played his part in selling that fight a bit more, hasn't he? So, and when it's all said and done, it's just what it's about. That's the business, isn't it?
But also, my biggest thing with that sort of thing, like, if John Fury can fight at the best he's ever fought, let's say, how long can you hold it for at that age? That's the thing. Like, we've seen older people fight. Once you get past that sort of what do you want to call it? Initial storm, I guess. Like after 2 minutes has gone and you're breathing heavy, suddenly you're 60. Do you know what I mean? And that's when it goes apart, innit? You know what I mean? It's not saying that John couldn't have had a good go in his day, but like, listen, at 60, once the initial, I can't see he's just going to bowl Carl Froch over like no problem. He's not, is he, right? So if Carl Froch is still there a minute and a half deep, how's that look?
Be like it'd be like your 60-year-old uncle coming out the boozer and still thinking he's got it, and he thinks, oh no, I've still got it, and then he gets one clean shot and he's just flattened on the paper.
Oh God! And was he sound, Froch? Was he, Ollie, when you met him?
Great guy, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. Like you see him on video, he can come across a bit prickly, can't he? But yeah, in person, brilliant. Like
yeah,
top man. Really,
seems like a good lad. Like really good content as well. Froch on fighting. I mean, sometimes he goes a bit far, doesn't he? Sometimes it's a bit repetitive, but no, I think he is. He tells it, how it is from his point of view, doesn't he? Very honest.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. We did like after I got a chance to sit down and chat with him and that, like not just me, but a few of us, and he was talking very sort of like very chilled, very open about his views on certain things. Just I liked him a lot, and I didn't think I would as much. To be fair, I thought he might be one of them characters where you go, he's all right, not for me, sort of thing. But couldn't have been more opposite. I thought he was brilliant. Yeah.
So he was a little bit different to maybe how he's come across on his channel. You felt he was a little bit maybe warmer or a bit more personable.
Yeah, I think he is similar. He's not in any way different in one way. But I just think when you're in front of someone in person, it comes across different, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Because you're getting the context of it. You're talking to him for more than the little clips you're seeing. Like when he was talking to Floyd, everyone's seen the video when he's going to Floyd Mayweather, and he's going like. I fought in front of 80,000 people, rendered him unconscious. Like half the problem with why he looks like he did in that is because Floyd's not getting it, right? Floyd's just kind of like staring at him, and he's like, "What's this?" Like when there's a bit of back and forth, it comes across warmer, and I think that's part of it. But yeah, as I say, in person, man, he was top man,
Nice.
Yeah, good to hear, mate. Good to hear. And where can everyone find you, Ollie? You're on YouTube. You're on Instagram.
Can I give a shameless plug? If I puff my chest out,
please do.
Go on, mate.
Squeeze the Neck podcast on so Instagram and YouTube. I will be on Spotify. I was working with someone before basically, and like our timelines were a bit off, so it wasn't coming through in time, and it just got a bit messy. So off Spotify for now. If this finds anyone that's a bit of a Spotify whiz, please reach out, and maybe you can help me out and stick it on Spotify. But yeah, so YouTube, Instagram, Squeeze the Neck podcast.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. And
thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Top, good to see you again, Ollie, and we'll have you on again on another episode. Sure, we'll stay in touch. But yeah, top man, thanks for coming on.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers, boys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for watching and listening, everyone, and we will catch you all next week.